where we are not only are providing safety but are also providing welfare, dignity, and confidence to our SafaiMitras. Simultaneously, we are also creating infrastructure to make our cities responsive to the needs of our citizens. And citizens responsible and considerate towards the rights and emotions of Safai Karamcharis, as well as being adherent to the law of the land. Today, we are privileged to have amongst us Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. We are also joined by Secretary, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Secretary, National Commission for Safai Karamcharis, Senior Economic Advisor from Ministry of Social Justice and Environment, Joint Secretary, Swachhata Mission, Bhawa, Akshay Roth sir, Principal Secretaries of Urban Development, City Commissioners, Senior Engineers, and officials from the cities and states, and our sector partners. We welcome all of you for joining us here today. Special welcome to the Safai Karamcharis from across the country who watch us on this media as well as on YouTube. Sir, with your kind permission, I would propose to launch a special audio visual, a 3-minute film, highlighting our desire and journey on the path of SafaiMitra Surakshit Shehar from the eyes of who else? A Safai Mitra. The movie.
ये अपनों से ही परायपन का एहसास और बढ़ती दूरियां, ये किसी अपने को खोने का डर, ये सब के सामने शर्म से झुकती नजरें, ये सब शामिल था इन सेप्टिक टैंक साफ करने वालों की रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में। लेकिन अब ये कहानी बदल रही है। भारत सरकार SafaiMitra सुरक्षा इनिशिएटिव की शुरुआत के साथ स्वच्छता के इन निडर सिपाहियों के सम्मान, उनकी सुरक्षा और उनके गौरव को बढ़ा रही है, जिसके तहत आज देश के हर शहर में सफाई कर्मियों को मॉडर्न इक्विपमेंट एंड मशीन्स की ट्रेनिंग देकर उनके उपयोग पर जोर दिया जा रहा है, ताकि किसी भी सफाई कर्मी को सुरक्षा के अभाव में अपनी जान को जोखिम में न डालना पड़े। इस उत्तरदायित्वपूर्ण सरकार ने इन सफाई कर्मियों को केवल नाम के लिए SafaiMitra नहीं बनाया है।
पहले क्या है, कोई सुविधा नहीं हुआ करता था। हमसे तो ये कहा जाता था कि सीवर ब्लॉक है, खोलना है। खबर चीज़ें नहीं खुलती थी तो हमें मजबूरन नीचे जाके काम करना पड़ता था। पहले में और अब में इतना बदलाव आ गया, नई नई मशीनें आई हुई है, हमें नीचे नहीं उतरना पड़ता है, सब काम मशीनें करती है। इतनी सेफ्टी चीज़ होती है हमारे पास, गमबूट, हेलमेट, मास्क, चश्मा, सब चीज़ मिलता हमारे को।
आज पूरा भारत देश आजादी के 75वें साल का जश्न मना रहा है। आजादी के इस अमृत महोत्सव में जहां देश टेक्नोलॉजी और डिजिटल डेवलपमेंट की ओर आगे बढ़ रहा है, वहीं हमारे ये SafaiMitra भी देश के साथ कदम से कदम मिलाकर आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। स्वच्छता के इस अभियान में आज आम नागरिक भी अपनी जिम्मेदारी को समझते हुए हेल्पलाइन नंबर 1442 पर कॉल कर ट्रेन्ड और ऑथराइज्ड सफाई कर्मियों के द्वारा ही सीवर और सेप्टिक टैंक्स की सफाई का कार्य करा रहे हैं। मशीनों का मॉडर्नाइजेशन आज मैन होल को मशीन होल में बदल रहा है तथा सफाई मित्रों के जीवन को और भी सुरक्षित बना रहा है।
हमारी आज एक पहचान बनी हुई है, जो दुनिया हमारी कदर करती है, हमारे लिए सोचते। आज आम आदमी भी जाग गया है हमारे लिए कि हम एक सफाई मित्र हैं।
भारत सरकार के नमस्ते इनिशिएटिव के अंतर्गत स्वच्छता के लिए उपयोग किए जाने वाले उपकरण सफाई मित्रों को आसान किश्तों में उपलब्ध कराए जा रहे हैं, जिससे सफाई मित्र और उनके परिवार सैनी ऑन सके और उनका भविष्य सम्मानजनक और आत्मनिर्भर बन सके। आज इन सफाई मित्रों का जीवन पूरी तरह से बदल रहा है और ये सफाई मित्र अपनी कड़ी मेहनत से देश को स्वच्छ रखकर इसके प्रति अपनी मित्रता निभा रहे हैं।
हमारे स्वच्छता कर्मी, हमारे सफाई मित्र सच्चे अर्थ में इस अभियान के महानायक हैं।
सफाई मित्रों के लिए सुरक्षित शहर बनाने की यात्रा को और विस्तार से जानने के लिए अब चलते हैं देश के 4 सबसे प्रगतिशील शहरों में एवं जानते हैं कि वो किस प्रकार से अपने शहर को सफाई में सुरक्षित बना रहे हैं। अब मैं अनुरोध करना चाहता हूं श्री संजय कुमार जी, स्पेशल ऑफिसर जमशेदपुर, अपने सफाई में सुरक्षित शहर बनाने की यात्रा को शेयर करें। रिक्वेस्टिंग संजय कुमार जी, जमशेदपुर, अपने आप को म्यूट करें और अपना प्रेजेंटेशन शेयर करें। संजय कुमार जी। आगे बढ़ते हुए चलते हैं देवास, मध्य प्रदेश।
गुड मॉर्निंग सर, वी आर कनेक्टेड।
अच्छा, थैंक यू संजय जी, आप अपना प्रेजेंटेशन शुरू कर सकते हैं।
Good morning, everybody. I am Sanjay Kumar, Special Officer, Jamshedpur Notified Area Committee. Today, I am giving presentations on our city's journey from manhole to machine hole, eliminating manual scavenging in sewer cleaning. First of all, before start, I would like to thank my team, officials of Tata Steels, and citizens of Jamshedpur. Because of them, we got second positions in SafaiMitra Surakshit Challenge 2021 between 3 to 10 lakhs population category in entire nations. The city is spread in an area of 64 square kilometer. We are serving a population approx 7.70 lakhs, and wastewater is collected in sewer networks of length 579 km with 20,000 manhole. The challenges has always been the conventional method of sewer cleaning that required manual entry in almost every part of the country.
Next slide, please.
Next slide, please. Here is some news clipping across the country. We can see. Next slide, please. We have identified 3 major challenges with thoughtful process. To cater the challenges, we have innovative ideas for zero manual entry. So, where 3 major challenges. First one is the technical problem for non-uniformity manhole design. Safety problem, sewer line desilting required manual entry, and social problem like work dignity of sewer workmen. We have different sewers and manhole in Jamshedpur, which require different frequency of cleaning. To get the solution, we have to first understand the problem what you have faced before starting off SafaiMitra Surakshit Challenge. Here is the process like opening cover, checking gases, placing rope ladder, workman entry, then desilting work, where very hazardous to the that this process was very hazardous to the our SafaiMitra. We have estimated and calculations that shows that average cleaning time of SafaiMitra in manhole used up to 68 minutes. and risk was very high. We have also estimated the availability of the oxygen inside manhole decreases with increase in depth. There is a chart which shows the depth of the manhole corresponding to what risks our sewer workers faces. The need of the hour was to replace the working system. For that, we have worked and to change the working system from man working in the manhole to machine working. We have procured some equipments, some machines, and that helps us in changing the systems from. And next, here is some pictures what we have about machines like grab slit machine, suction cum jetting machines, power bucket machine, super sucker machine, power bucket machine that help us in changing the system. And we had also last one, and we next slide please. Next. Last slide please. Here is the difference. We can see manual method of sewer pipe cleaning, and when we achieve the mechanized cleaning or sewer pipe cleaning, it clearly shows that now there is no need of our sewers workers to go inside the man. Our journey we also very concerned about our workman's safety, their dignity, and their social security. Here is some pictures which clearly shows we arrange feast for our SafaiMitra. We also do the trainings for our SafaiMitra. We are not only concerned only with SafaiMitra, we are also connecting with the family members of the SafaiMitra. Here is the picture which clearly shows we involve our citizens about the awareness of the safety of the SafaiMitra with the help of Nukkad Natak, etc. She achieved this.
पहले हम अनसेफ में काम करते थे, घुस के डिसेंटिंग करते थे और जाम घुस के खोलते थे, और अभी हम लोग मतलब इतना बदलाव आ गया सेफ्टी में कि बिना घुसे बिना मतलब ये का हम लोग काम करते हैं, और परिवार को भी मतलब इस चीज़ के लिए डर रहता था कि मेरा लड़का गया हुआ है काम, कि ऐसे ऐसा काम करते हैं कि वापस आए कि नहीं आए, और अभी इतना बदलाव है कि घर वाले को टेंशन इतना नहीं रहता है.
Finally, I can say that all these efforts resulted in the happy faces of my SafaiMitra. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. अब मध्य प्रदेश, जहां से मैं अनुरोध करना चाहता हूं श्री विशाल सिंह चौहान जी, म्युनिसिपल कमिश्नर देवास. रिक्वेस्ट थी कि आप 5 मिनट में अपना प्रेजेंटेशन समाप्त करें. देवास म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन.
Sure. Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am, and good morning, other dignitaries who is joined in this webinar. मैं सभी को नमस्कार करता हूं, और मैं पहले धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं आदरणीय मैम को, आदरणीय सर को, कि बिकॉज ऑफ सफाई सुरक्षा मित्र चैलेंज हम लोग अपने सीवर क्लीनिंग जो पूरा सिस्टम है, जो पूरा इकोसिस्टम है, हम उस पर फोकस कर पाए. उसके पहले हम लोग जब सफाई हमारा स्वच्छता सर्वेक्षण की बात करते थे तो उसमें ये कंपोनेंट थोड़ा मिस हुआ करता था। देवास मध्य प्रदेश में एक बसा हुआ छोटा सा शहर है जिसकी अभी आबादी लगभग 3.25 लाख के लगभग है, और ये अमृत स्कीम में कवर्ड शहर है। हम लोगों ने जब जैसे ही सफाई सुरक्षा मित्र चैलेंज इम्प्लीमेंट हुआ था, लागू हुआ था और इस पे काम करना शुरू करना था, तो उस समय हम लोग अपना सीवरेज सिस्टम नेटवर्क जो है उसको कंप्लीट करने के फाइनल स्टेज पर थे। हम लोगों ने जैसे ही अपना सीवरेज सिस्टम जो है, नया सिस्टम, उसके पहले यहाँ पर ओल्ड सिस्टम चला करता था जिसमें बहुत कम एरिया में सीवरेज की कनेक्टिविटी थी। हम लोगों ने, हमारी जो प्राइवेट एजेंसी थी जिसके साथ हमने पूरा इस सिस्टम को इम्प्लीमेंट करा था सिटी में, उसके साथ में मिलके जो सफाई सुरक्षा मित्र चैलेंज की रिक्वायरमेंट थी उसके अकॉर्डिंगली हमारा नीड असेसमेंट करा, और हम लोगों ने आइडेंटिफाई करे वो जोन जो कि जहाँ पर हमको काम करना है। तो बेसिकली हम लोग 4 हमारे बिंदुओं पर फोकस कर पाए थे। नेक्स्ट प्लीज। नेक्स्ट। सबसे पहले हम लोगों को जरूरी था कि हम लोग अपना इंस्टीट्यूशनल सेटअप जो है, जो कि सीवरेज सिस्टम को बिलोंग करता है, उसको स्ट्रेंथन करें। देन हम लोगों ने अपना मैन पावर को स्किल करना है, मशीनरी और इक्विपमेंट का जो हम लोगों की होल्डिंग थी उसको बढ़ाना था, और एज पर दी सीएफएचओ नॉर्म्स जो है हम लोगों को ले जाना था, हम लोगों ने उस पर लेके गए। कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग जो है, हमारे एग्जिस्टिंग सफाई मित्र और जो कि इस काम में इनफॉर्मल लोग लगे हुए थे, उन लोगों की कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग करना था। कुछ नए टेक्निकल लोगों को इसमें लेके आना था, और ओवरऑल पूरा हमारा इकोसिस्टम को जो है इम्प्रूव हम लोगों को करना था। नेक्स्ट। हम लोगों ने, जैसा कि एक बहुत सुनियोजित प्लान हम लोगों को सफाई सुरक्षा मित्र चैलेंज के तहत दिया गया था, उसी के तहत हम लोगों ने हमारा टोल फ्री नंबर को एक्टिवेट करा जो कि हमारे ग्रीवेंस रिड्रेसल का काम करता है। साथ ही साथ हम लोगों का जो माय देवास ऐप है वो बाकी हमारी क्लीनिंगनेस की जो भी कंप्लेंट्स है उसको तो कैटर करता था, लेकिन स्पेशली जो हम लोगों को रिक्वेस्ट चाहिए होती थी फॉर द सीवर क्लीनिंग या फिर सेप्टिक टैंक क्लीनिंग, उसको हम लोग कवर नहीं करते थे, तो हमने उसमें उसको कवर करा। एक सेटिंग करा हम लोगों का इमरजेंसी सैनिटेशन रिस्पांस यूनिट। और जो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है कि जब तक लोगों में इसके संबंध में जागरूकता नहीं होगी कि सेप्टिक टैंक हमें नियमित रूप से खाली कराना है, सेप्टिक टैंक में सीवर वाटर के अलावा कुछ और नहीं जाना चाहिए, इन सब चीज़ों को लोगों हम लोगों ने इंटेंस आईसी एक्टिविटी करी। नेक्स्ट प्लीज। तो इन सब चीज़ों के लिए बहुत ज़रूरी था कि हमारी मैन पावर स्किल्ड हो। हम लोगों ने क्वालिटी इंश्योरेंस इंजीनियर जो है लेके आए, हम लोगों ने अपने टेक्निकल सुपरवाइजर जो है हर सीवर क्लीनिंग टीम के साथ में अपॉइंट करें, और हमारी जो सेप्टिक टैंक की डिसलेजिंग टीम है उसको हम लोगों ने बढ़ाया, साथ में उन लोगों को भी हम लोगों ने टेक्निकली साउंड करने का प्रयास करा। इसके लिए हम लोगों ने मशीनों का प्रोक्योरमेंट करा, और जो इक्विपमेंट है उनका प्रोक्योरमेंट करा। आई एम थैंकफुल टू दी माय सीवर एजेंसी ऑल्सो, जिन्होंने उनके टेंडर स्कोप में ना होते हुए भी मेरे चाहे अनुसार जो जो हम लोगों को मशीनरी की रिक्वायरमेंट थी वो उन लोगों ने प्रोवाइड करी, और साथ ही साथ जो इक्विपमेंट म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन लेवल पे हम लोगों को बाय करने थे हम लोगों ने अपनी तरफ से बाय करे। उसी के कारण हम लोग जो सीपीएसओ नॉर्म्स थे और उस समय जो सफाई सुरक्षा मित्र चैलेंज था उसके जो नॉर्म्स थे उसको हम लोग कवर कर पाए। नेक्स्ट प्लीज। जैसा मैंने बताया कि ट्रेनिंग हम लोगों ने ऑर्गेनाइज करी हमारे वर्कर्स के लिए, इंटीग्रेशन करा इनफॉर्मर वर्कर्स को सीवर मेंटेनेंस एजेंसी के साथ में। हम लोग के पास में सिर्फ 2 ही डिसलेजिंग व्हीकल हुआ करते थे, हमने एनएसके डीएफसी के साथ में लिंकेजेस करके हमारे 2 सफाई कर्मचारियों के परिवारों को डिसलेजिंग व्हीकल दिलाए, हमारे लोगों को पीपी किट्स वगैरह अवेलेबल कराया, और उन लोग का हेल्थ चेकअप जो है वो रेगुलरली करना शुरू करा। नेक्स्ट। इसके लिए बहुत जरूरी था जब हम लोगों ने डीसलेजिंग मशीन और ये सारी चीजें लेके आए फील्ड में प्राइवेट ऑपरेटर्स के साथ में, जिनको हमने एनएसके डीएफसी के साथ में लोन करा, तो हम लोगों ने उनके रेट्स जो है फिक्स यूजर चार्जेस जो है उसको थोड़ा बढ़ाया, सो दैट कि उनको एक फाइनेंशियल सस्टेनेबिलिटी मिल पाए। और आईसी कुछ इस तरह से की गई कि लोगों ने भी उस फिक्स्ड यूजर चार्जेस का बहुत विरोध नहीं करा कि भाई पहले हम लोग 500 रुपीज लिया करते थे, देन वी हैव इंक्रीज इट टू द 1200 रुपीज। लेकिन लोगों में आईसी को इस तरह से हम लोगों ने करा कि ये हम लोग लोगों को समझा पाए, और साथ ही साथ जो मैंडेटरी डिसलेजिंग है एवरी 3 ईयर में उसमें हम लोगों को ले पाए। नेक्स्ट। कुछ इनोवेशंस हमने करे थे, मैं बताना चाहूंगा हमको कि हम लोगों ने गरिमा गृह जो है सफाई कर्मियों के लिए बनाए हैं, जिसमें कि स्पेशली वुमेन सैनिटरी वर्कर्स और हमारे सीवर क्लीनिंग वर्कर्स जो है जा सकते हैं अपने काम पर आने के पहले, काम पर से घर जाने के बाद में, सो दैट वहाँ पर वो अपना चेंज कर सकते हैं, अपना लंच कर सकते हैं। साथ ही साथ हम लोगों ने वर्क स्टेशन जो है लिक्विड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट टीम के लिए इस्टेब्लिश करा है। फ्यूचर में हम लोग प्रयास कर रहे हैं कि हम लोग एनएसकेडीएफसी के साथ में और ज़्यादा हमारे वर्कर्स को लिंकेजेस कराएं। अभी लगभग हम लोगों ने 20 वर्कर्स आइडेंटिफाई करके उनके प्रपोजल्स भी एनएसकेडीएफसी को भेज दिए हैं। साथ ही साथ हम लोग एक लो कॉस्ट ग्रैब बकेट जो सीवर क्लीनिंग के लिए है उसको अपने सिस्टम में इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं हम। एक और चीज़ मैं बताना चाहूँगा कि हम लोग एक डेमो फील्ड बना रहे हैं जिसमें कि जब भी कोई नया हमारा सीवर वर्कर आता है तो उसको एक्चुअल फील्ड में काम करने के पहले एक डेमो फील्ड में काम करने का मौका मिले, सो दैट कि वो जान पाए कि किस प्रकार से काम करना है। नेक्स्ट प्लीज। थैंक यू।
अब मैं अनुरोध करना चाहता हूँ मिस अनुपमा अंजलि जी, म्युनिसिपल कमिश्नर तिरुपति, अपने सफाई में सुरक्षित शहर बनने के अनुभव को शेयर करें। तिरुपति म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन।
Sir, good morning, sir. This is Deputy Municipal Commissioner, Commissioner Madam Anupama Anjali Madam. Because of some urgency, the one demolition is going on, sir. Our Honorable Mayor Madam and Minister sir and Commissioner Madam, everybody rushed to that spot, sir. So Madam could not able to attend, but myself, Deputy Commissioner, and I am ready with the presentation, sir. With your permission, shall I run, sir?
Sure, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Sir, Tirupati Municipal, go from the first. Yes, sir. Next. Next. One minute. Sir, Tirupati Municipal Corporation, as you know, it is the one of the popular Hindu religious city where, but Tirumala is abode of Lord Venkateshwara, and the Tirupati Municipal Corporation is the serving city to the Tirumala, that hill where the Lord resides, and it spreads over 27.44 square kilometers, and the population as per 2011 census it is only 2.9 lakhs, sir. But the present population after merging of 5 gram panchayats, the population has been increased to 4.24 lakhs, and we have the sewer network presently 352 kilometers, and the manholes are 13,722. So, but earlier the we have less, very low sewerage network, that is 60% only, 229 kilometers of coverage was there, sir. But now it was increased to almost 90% of the area has been covered, with 96 members of SafaiMitra workers have been completely dedicated to this work, sir. Next. So before launching of SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge, the coverage, as I said, sir, it was only 60%. Only 52,000 of properties were covered. Now, when the after challenge we took and we participated in SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge, and we got the award also. Now the sewerage network also increased to 90%. 90% of the households now have the sewer network, sir, and we have achieved this manhole to machine hole transformation. Earlier, as the other presentations they have shown, earlier only the traditional methods, entry into the manual entry of the manhole was there. When the manual entry into the manhole, so there were a lot of casualties, and we have a lot of complaints we had. So this is the great opportunity given by Government of India, particularly from Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, that there is a path shown to us, and the expenditure part also we have focused the from shifted our focus from traditional methods to machine equipment, procurement of equipment, and the training of these workers, and giving them health care. All these things come into place, sir, thanks to that SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge. And we have procured 5 jetting suction machines, and 9 desludging vehicles, 12 power rodding machines, and 12 desilting machines in the last year only. So this has reduced the burden of workers, sir. Earlier they used to do the manually. So dedicated 96 members were, they were drawn from the Safai family members of the Safai Karmacharis, and they were given proper training and protective gears. Next. Sir, earlier scenario was like this: 60% only, 8,500 manholes and manual entry into the sewers, informal septic tanks. Even the desludging, the septic tank cleaners were the operators were also, they used to unload the entire septage on the roadside, road margins and open areas. Now the complete septic tank cleaners, all these vehicles were geotagged, and they have to come to our co-treatment plant where the desludging, I mean, FSTP is also there. So fire strengthen the step, I mean, co-treatment facility we have to. So after this 2020, entire scenario has been changed, and the helpline 14420 we have established in the command control center, and training of the workers, everything happens. Next. Tirupati sir, I would like to mention particularly about this emergency sanitation response unit. So wherever we have, being a traditional city, Tirupati, we have very narrow lines where the vehicle could not go. So for this particular situation, we have taken 20 members as a team for ESRU, that is Emergency Sanitation Response Unit. Wherever crisis is there, wherever the machine or equipment could not go, so they go and with proper protective gear and with the oxygen mask and cylinders, oxygen cylinders, they can resolve that issue, sir. Even the responsible sanitation authority under the chairmanship of municipal commissioner, actually we don't have this authority with the district magistrate, sir. Municipal commissioner herself is the responsible sanitation authority, and under her authority we have this SRU, sir, sanitation response unit, comprising of health officer, superintendent engineer, and other deputy executive engineers. They look after the problems arise, and they solve the grievances, sir. Next, we have empaneled, 1 minute, next back, we have empaneled all the 10 septic tank operators, and they were completely geotagged, so they have to unload in our FSTP only. So they should not unload the septage in the road margins or open areas. And we have, see, we can see that Sulabh International also empaneled here, community and public toilets, so completely handed over to Sulabh International, sir. So now they are running successfully. Next. So these are the main vehicles and equipment we have purchased in the last year. So now the system is running well, sir. Next. So these are the tools, and this is the main showing all the vehicles, I mean, with protective gear and tools we have procured. What are the tools we are using now? Next. So training and capacity building for this Safai Karmacharis staff, from where we have drawn the 96 members. Identification and training of these workers and integration into this. Meaning these are earlier these people were informal workers. Now they were brought to this formal sector, and they are completely integrated to this Safai Mitra Suraksha challenge, sir. Next. We have given the proper training also. This is the training sessions, and at field level also we are using all these things. This is the tripod regularly we are using. Next. These the awareness campaigns. Extensive awareness campaigns were conducted all over the city, and even we conducted some kind of competitions among the children. I mean, at school level. So even households are also, they were given the information about the 14420, the grievance, the toll-free number for this SafaiMitra Suraksha challenge for any complaint regarding this underground drainage network complaints, as well as the septic tank cleaning, sir. Next. This is the 14420. Exclusively, we have set up one integrated command and control center in our office, from where the complaints received, and the information immediately passed on to the next level officer in the field level, the area supervisor. If the area supervisor could not handle the issue, this is being escalated to next engineer, deputy executive engineer level, next to SC level, next to commissioner level. So it depends on the intensity and gravity of the complaint we receive. And the again anyway we take the mobile number and we we have taken the data of all the registered mobile numbers. After the solving and after the completing resolving these complaints, directly the feedback is also given to that complainant, because we take the mobile number, sir. So this is the modus operandi of the 14420 here. Next.
Requesting you, sir, please conclude the
Yeah,
presentation.
sir, it is over. It is over, sir. Thank you. This is the testimonial of T. Ekambaram. Lastly, unfortunately, we could not play the video. This is some error is there, sir. Next, sir. This is our FSTP and the capacity and all these things, sir. Next. Sir, here the treated water is again reused for the Srikalahasti Pipes Limited, and we are getting almost 6,50,000 revenue every month, because the treated water is used for the coolant as a coolant, and again remaining water, treated water is used for our parks and junctions where water fountains are there, and the remaining part is water is given to farmers, sir, for agriculture purpose. That is our case, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Water plus city. Thank you.
करते हैं भुवनेश्वर उड़ीसा, जहां से गरिमा स्कीम के अनुभव को हमारे साथ साझा कर रहे हैं श्री विजय अमृता जी, म्युनिसिपल कमिश्नर भुवनेश्वर।
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Thanks for this opportunity, ma'am. We have Garima scheme under same initiative. Honorable CM. Next. Next. Honorable CM Odisha inaugurated this scheme on 11th of September 2020, and main features is safety and dignity for these SafaiMitra कर्मचारीज जो sanitation core sanitation workers है. Next. Sir, we have two categories, especially we identified these two category and fixed their grades, grade 1 and grade 2. So especially operation and maintenance of sewer network and septic tank cleaning, they are grade 1. And next grade 2, public community toilet cleaning, then operation and maintenance of FSTP, STP plants and drain cleaning. So we have categorized these two at two level. Next. Then in Garima scheme components, mainly 4 features are there. First, from regulating and institutionalizing core sanitation services, then creation of skilled sanitation workforce, provision of service level benefits to core sanitation workers and creating a safe and dignified working environment, and fourth, provision of social security benefits to core sanitation workers. And next. And all these features objective included in Garima scheme, especially we are ensuring these components for SafaiMitras, Pakka House, livelihood support, insurance, then connectivity, mobile phone, education, then communication, then health checkup and assured minimum wages. Next. Then for this first extensive enumeration program conducted for identification of core sanitation workers, and for that workshop conducted, meetings conducted, and entire state and especially in Bhubaneswar 1050 core sanitation workers till today identified, and then Garima ID distributed among them, and this process is still going on. Next. This is very important. We have categorized these two in grade 1 and grade 2, and from training part of core sanitation work included high skill and skill category. Then high skill, as mentioned earlier, operation and maintenance of sewer network, septic tank cleaning, and skill to public community toilet cleaning. Then accordingly wages improvement also ensured. So high category grade 1 it increased from 326 to 476, and grade 2 326 to 416. Also risk and hardship allowance is been given 15%, and especially their work duration it reduced from 8 hours to 6 hours to ensure quality work. Next. Then we have skill development training time to time for this core sanitation worker at Odisha Water Academy. This is one dedicated academy for this purpose, and you can see some snaps of training. Next. These are the pics of training and all type of training, including theory part, then practical part, how to use machineries, their use, all being covered. Next. Then now in Bhubaneswar, we never mention manhole, we mention its machine hole, and we use these different type of equipments for cleaning these machine holes. Next. These are the safety devices: fan blower, tripod, airline respiratory devices, gas detector, body harness, and it's regularly used in real time. Next. Specially dress design for these Garima, under Garima branding CSWs, core sanitation workers. First you can see, back please. First you can see it's for septic tank cleaning part, and second sewage network cleaning purpose it's used. Next. We are ensuring illegal cleaning also, and punishment we are ensuring in real time. We are identifying this type of offense, and we book them regularly. Also 14420 helpline is operational in Bhubaneswar, and we are taking feedback. Also grievance redressal is also happening through this helpline. Next. Garima Groha has been built up for these core sanitation workers, SafaiMitras, and external washing area is there, changing room, personal lockers, washroom, waiting resting room, and well furnished Garima Grohas are there, through which they can take rest and also dignity ensured. Next. This one picture will show the change, how Babuli Nahak initially before Garima, and after, now with dignity, with proper uniform and safety gears, how he looks and performing. Next. Then next, we have ensured as per guidelines all these highlights I have mentioned. Bhubaneswar is 7 SafaiMitra challenge cities included, and also lighthouse cities. We have ERSU established, and RSA also notified, and accordingly these institutions are working, and PPE safety devices, cleaning equipment 100% in use, and manual cleaning is strictly banned and monitoring very closely in real time. Then all these parameters we have ensured, sir, and Bhubaneswar is very serious and careful about the dignity and safety of our SafaiMitra Surakshit. Thank you, sir.
सफाई मित्र सुरक्षा के अंतर्गत देश में कई सामाजिक संस्थाओं, सेक्टर पार्टनर्स और प्राइवेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, टेक्निकल इंस्टीट्यूट ने आगे बढ़ के हिस्सा लिया है, और वो आज अपने अनुभव हमारे साथ शेयर कर रहे हैं। अब मैं प्रोफेसर मान्विता बराती, फाउंडर एंड डायरेक्टर अर्बन मैनेजमेंट सेंटर से अपने अनुभव को शेयर करने का अनुरोध करता हूँ, and requesting Manika ji to please stick to the timeline of 4 minutes.
Sure. Thank you very much, and really pleasure to be here amongst all the dignitaries. I guess this is not the presentation. Can I share my presentation? Can I quickly shift? Can you give me rights? Yeah, thank you. So, excellent. Thank you. So, can you see it? Let me start talking. Meanwhile, Meghna, can I request you to share it? We've seen cities present here, wonderful examples, and we can see that there is a appetite to really work with sanitation workers, and we can really support them in how the transformation of urban India can come in. We need social and financial safety nets, and my colleagues from Kamavida and Deki will talk about more about machines. What I'm going to talk about is how can these safety nets be set up, because the bedrock of the success of this scheme is the fact that they can receive safety nets. They are invisible. They have been invisible in the fabric. There are occupational hazards. Financial insecurity really is up topmost on their minds, and specifically lack of safety. We've seen that more than 50% of our workers, of sanitation workers, do not get any other work. This is unfortunate, but it is a reality of today's world. More than three-fourths women are engaged in sanitation sectors, and they're married to or are born into this family, and they continue doing that work. Even though they're more than 20% educated sanitation workers, the work does not come so easily. The informality is huge. The highest informality is in the septic tank cleaning, and there is no access to social and financial safety net. More than 90% of our workers do not have insurance cover as of today, but this is going to change. And mostly female workers are most neglected. We all know that, and that should be our focus as well. All informal workers lack this insurance cover. When we talk about PPEs, it's not one size fits all. It's very different for different job roles, and hence how many kinds of masks or gloves needs to be given for what kind of cleaning. So such a study has happened, and we've now compiled all of these, and it's available for cities to take forward. Basically, Namaste is a great scheme, and Yogita ma'am is going to talk about it in detail. This is wonderful that Ministry of Social Justice and Ministry of Urban Housing and Urban Affairs have come together to launch this. It will help visibilizing the workers, and working informality can be converted into more formal arrangements of this of the cohort we are talking about. The large part is necessity of training and skilling of these workers. It has been tried, as very well put by Bhuvaneshwar Smart Cities folks. They said they are into this process. Garima is a torchbearer, and this should be replicated the way trainings are conducted. Federating sanitation workers into groups is also a bedrock. There are more than 1,600 SHG groups of sanitation workers nationally, and we can leverage this groups to and given assets and give them mechanical cleaning devices with partnership with private sector. This would be amazing. Similar approach of Swanidhi to Samriddhi, such camps can be really set up, and that would be wonderful. So there are minimum wages of sanitation workers needs to be declared as well. So in UP, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, they're not yet specified its skill category, but it can happen. The minimal wage can be notified and can be taken up forward. Sanitation workers require recognition more than anything else, recognition for their wages and hardship and allowance. Odisha is one of the states which is really done under Garima, and we're very happy to share here that Garima is a torchbearer in this. So I'll end my presentation here. Thank you. Meghna, would you like to add anything? Thank you very much.
Nothing to add. Thanks.
Can we start, sir? So can we start?
Sir, sir, we can't hear if it's, yeah.
Requesting Kamavida to start their presentation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am, and good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Kamavida is a 25-year-old company. Very fortunate to be in this space. We have about 7,000 machines working nationwide. And ever since the initiative began, the SafaiMitra initiative began, we've seen huge tractions happening. We've been able to launch a lot of new machines. We've been able to sit with customers and understand difficulties of narrow lane cleaning, etc. While doing this across India, we've also realized hardware selling is not enough. There's also a kind of a software issue involved in this whole process. So selling the equipment and not being able to train the people who use the equipment was a gap that we felt. And we therefore went and put up an independent setup, a Section 8 company called CAM Foundation, which now works very closely with the Ministry of Skill Development and SCGJ and conducts training across India, where we believe 50% of the problem would be if you're able to empower, train these people who are involved in safety on mechanization as well as on safety. I think we have a great future going forward. I would hand over the presentation to Mr. Smita Singh, who is the CEO of the foundation.
So, good morning, everybody. So, before we start, sir, I would like to introduce that what exactly we do under KF. So, we are training sanitation workers and Safai Karmacharis in Maharashtra and Pan India. And our modules are based on our 4P, which is called perception, which is they have a very different perception about themselves, and people have also a very different perception towards the whole sanitation ecosystem, and of course the sanitation soldiers also. So we want we try and change their perception during our training program. The second is of course the most important P, which is protection, where we work on different kinds of safety aspects, and we train them on different kind of occupational health hazards which they face while working, whether it is solid waste or whether it is liquid waste or any kind of toilet cleaning, CTPT, any kind of cleaning, sir. So we train them on different kind of safety aspects, occupational health hazards, and what kind of PPEs, because there are different PPEs to be worn by different kind of job roles which they perform. So we train them on this P. The third P is of course what are the rules and regulations which have been passed so far. Like we train them on manual scavenging at 2013, and of course SWM 2000 and 2016 in solid waste. So how this will be implemented in a municipal corporation, we also train them that what are the important aspects. Like there are so many things written in that, what kind of PPEs they will use, what kind of safety equipments have to be used when somebody is going inside that. And of course the fourth P is mechanization, where we train them and we create joint liability groups by organizing the unorganized sanitation workers, through which we give them machines through CSR, and they run this machine within the city premise and earn their livelihood. So these are the 4 Ps where we work with sanitation workers, sanitation soldiers. What we did under SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge, we had got a mandate for next slide, please. Yes, so we had got a mandate for 2 states. One was of course Maharashtra, and second was UP, Uttar Pradesh. So under Maharashtra, we did this. We implemented this program on behalf of Mahua for 18 locations, and we trained around 667 participants under SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge. And in UP, sir, we implemented this under 6 locations, and we trained around 227 participants under this. Next, please. Yeah, so these are some of the pictures from the classroom trainings, sir, which we have conducted in different locations, and where we have made them aware that what kind of PPEs they have to wear and what are the laws and rules they have to follow while working inside a manhole or machine hole. Next, please. Yes, one of the most important aspect which I feel is under SafaiMitra Suraksha challenge is the practical training of our sanitation soldiers. Like suppose we talk about tripod in a classroom, but when we are not showing it practically because this is difficult to use if somebody is going to use it for the first time. So we definitely focus on how to use a gas detector, how to use a tripod, how to wear a breathing apparatus mask, how to wear a H2S mask when somebody is entering into a manhole. So definitely practical session is very important and we focused upon this under SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge. Next, please. Yes. So this is a unique model which we have designed under our sustainable livelihoods in sanitation module. So where we organize 4 or 5 members, unorganized sanitation workers, and we give them a machine, a suction machine, a desludging machine through CSR, and we do a MOU with municipal corporation, fix a parade, and then these people work within the city premise and they collect desludge the septic tank and earn their livelihood program. We definitely do it under the mandate MPCB norms or CPCB norms, where they have to desludge the vehicle under the STP. So this kind of MOU we do with the municipal corporation. So this work is completely done under rules and regulations. This is our one of the modules. Next, please. So these are the one step ahead. Definitely, SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge has given a different view to the municipal corporations. Now, different municipal corporations, whether it is Bombay Municipal Corporation, Pune Municipal Corporation, big municipal corporations, now they have mandated in the tender only that those people will participate in the tender who are going to have these kind of safety equipment or PPEs for the sanitation soldiers. Otherwise, they are not allowed to do it. So this is a big change we are able to see after these kind of trainings. So thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to train these people, and definitely we can do a lot, sir, going ahead through these kind of practical trainings and awareness sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. आगे बढ़ते हुए हमारे साथ जुड़ रहे हैं टिकी ने सफाई मित्रों के एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप डेवलपमेंट की दिशा में महत्वपूर्ण योगदान दिया है। अब मैं श्री मंजिल कुमार, नेशनल हेड बैंकिंग एंड फाइनेंस टिकी से सफाई सुरक्षा के एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप डेवलपमेंट के अनुभव को शेयर करने का अनुरोध करता हूँ।
Greetings from Dicky. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and under the aegis of Ministry of Housing and Urban Development and in the presence of Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, I must really take this opportunity to first of all congratulate all the municipal corporations for doing such a wonderful job. We're all aware the basic challenge, if I must say, is like under 2 headings. One is saving precious lives, and the second is providing dignity of labor. We're also aware of the solutions, which is technology adoption. The space where Dicky tries to work is in how to implement. Can we go to the previous slide, please? I'll just say next. The space that we really want to concentrate on here is developing an ecosystem for sustainable implementation of these solutions, wherein Dicky is working towards socio-economic empowerment of the manual scavengers, Safai Karamchari, scheduled castes and scheduled tribes through entrepreneurship. We have heard a lot about throughout the presentations regarding the skilling, the capacity building, the Garima. Next slide, please. But what we really want to do is moving on to the next stage where entrepreneurs are created. The very Safai Karamcharis are transformed into micro entrepreneurs or nano entrepreneurs, as we say. This is a brief description of Dicky. We have been established in 2005 from Pune by Dr. Milind Kamble. The organization has the foundation in Dr. Ambedkar's vision of economic empowerment through self-help and entrepreneurship. The vision is developing SC/ST business leadership. The mission is to become job givers, to become taxpayers, to create more wealth creators and contributors to the national economy from the SC/ST community. The aim of Dicky is challenging caste with capital. This is a brief description of what Dicky is. Next slide, please. What we are looking here is creation of Sanipreneur, as we call it, Sanitation Entrepreneur Development Ecosystem for comprehensive waste management solutions. Next, please. The Sanipreneur Development Ecosystem is a platform which we are trying to create where we engage with all these stakeholders at some point or other, basically to transform the manual scavenger or the Safai Karamchari into an entrepreneur. We have the municipal corporations, ULBs, cantonment boards, we have financial institutions on board, we interact with NSKFDC, NSFDC, we have OEMs and vehicle manufacturer like Camavida here, these skill development organizations through NSDC and green jobs, and the ministries, of course. Next, please. So the stakeholder here, what we are looking at is giving an opportunity or creating an opportunity where not only the skill development is done, the capacity building is done, but also is there a possibility of actually making the transformational change, making a Safai Karamchari into an entrepreneur. Maybe we go into a PPP model wherein the ULBs, the local civic bodies engage with Dickey and create tenders wherein contractual opportunities are given. What we have been working with in Hyderabad and successfully in Delhi, where we have worked with the local civic bodies and we have created a preferential order in which the tenders are given to the family member of the deceased labor, the manual scavenger, the Safai Karamchari, then SC in this order. We have linked the entire tender with the flagship program of Government of India, the Stand Up India scheme, wherein loans are given to these Safai Karamcharis for procurement of these machines. The hand-holding is done through a group management agency which looks after the entire operations and management, because when you transform the Safai Karamchari into an entrepreneur, definitely this is for the first time, this is for the first generation of entrepreneurs, they need to have a hand-holding. So the key forms a group, helps them in forming a group management agency wherein the entire operations and management, the financial literacy, the bank loan repayment, and everything is guided and mentored by this group management company. Next, please. Now, this is the entire Sanipreneur development process where Dickey engages in mobilization, mentoring, and hand-holding. It mobilizes from the very communities which are engaged in this particular work. We identify aspirations, we identify the youth who are ready to move on to the next step of becoming an entrepreneur. We create an entire support system. We help in the documentations. We link them to the various stakeholders. We enable them to participate in the bidding process. Next, please. The financial assistance linkage, primarily what we have worked with is with the Government of India's flagship, as I mentioned earlier, Stand Up India scheme, wherein from rupees 10 lakh to 1 crore is given to SC, ST or women entrepreneurs. So we link the entire tender with the Stand Up India scheme. The finance is provided. We have MOUs with various banks like State Bank of India, Oriental Bank of Commerce, Bank of Baroda, Indian Bank, wherein the loan is provided for the purchase of the machinery as well as the working capital for the initial stage of initiating the business. The entire process of loan application assistance, the agreements with the bank, the agreements with the ULBs, the entire process of getting the vehicle manufactured, fabricated, procurement and commissioning to the ULBs, the entire process is handheld by the Dickey. Next, please.
Conclude, sir.
So this is the entire framework of handholding where the group management agency takes an active part in supporting the Sanipreneur, which through a single window operating model, it interacts as a single window for the bank. It gives assistance for for state and central compliances necessary. For example, the ESI, the PF, the insurances, the other necessary aspects. Also, the assistance of subsidies through central government or the state government is also given to these sanitarians. Next, please. Working in this space, the impact of this building ecosystem has been successful linkage of Stand Up India scheme for creating 350 plus sanitarians, transformation of sanitation workers into the first generation SC/ST entrepreneur, which has been very successfully done. These daily wage earners have now become taxpayers, which is very significant, creating allied services, direct and indirect employment opportunities. Most significantly, since the inception of the projects that we have been engaged in, there have been zero deaths, there is zero manual intervention. Citizens and the local bodies of Hyderabad and Delhi are very happy with the sanitation services since 2017. Next, please. This is 2016. We actually entered into the sanitation space where we try to create entrepreneurs. So since 2017, DK engaged with the Hyderabad Metropolitan Water Supply and Sewerage Board, where first 68 entrepreneurs were created. In 2018, another 66 entrepreneurs were created with Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation. 2019, we engaged with Delhi Jal Board in creating 200 entrepreneurs. In 2021, we have mentored Swara Sanitech, a startup which is specially designed for creating sanitation and hygiene services for women, and we are looking forward for creating 1,000 women entrepreneurs in that particular space, where an integrated bus is created comprising of all necessary sanitation services required by women. In 2022, we have mentored a Honeysuckle model, which is a technology aggregation platform specially designed for fecal sludge management, the pilot for which is being rolled out at Pune and Panjim. These are the engagements in the sanitation space. Next, please. The slides are over. So what we are basically looking at is developing an ecosystem wherein it can be a PPP model. I saw a lot of municipal bodies actually doing a lot of capex investments through this particular ecosystem. The municipal, if this is replicated and scaled up, the municipal corporations can actually save up on the capex. They can go for a paying for service model, where they only have to pay for the services that is being provided by these entrepreneurs. That's it. Thank you so much.
थैंक यू सर। अब हम इस कार्यक्रम के एक महत्वपूर्ण चरण में प्रवेश कर रहे हैं, जिसमें हमारे साथ अहमदाबाद, चंडीगढ़, गया, नवी मुंबई से सीधे जुड़ रहे हैं हमारे इस कार्यक्रम के सबसे प्रमुख स्तंभ, हमारे सफाई मित्र। सबसे पहले चलते हैं गुजरात, जहां से हमारे साथ जुड़ रहे हैं 28 साल के युवा सफाई मित्र श्री जितेंद्र कुमार ताराचंद गोयल जी। जितेंद्र जी ने गुजरात यूनिवर्सिटी से पढ़ाई कर और सफाई के काम में मशीनों का प्रयोग करने में बहुत रुचि रखते हैं। जितेंद्र जी सफाई मित्र के रूप में देश को स्वच्छ रखने में अपना योगदान करके गर्व महसूस करते हैं। अब मैं जितेंद्र जी से अपने अनुभव को साझा करने का आग्रह करता हूँ।
मेरा नाम जितेंद्र कुमार ताराचंद जी गोयल है। मेरी आयु 28 वर्ष है और मैं पिछले 8 साल से अहमदाबाद म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन में गटर लाइन साफ सफाई की कामगिरी कर रहा हूँ। पहले हम ये कामगिरी हैंड बकेट और सलिएट से करते थे, लेकिन पिछले कई सालों से हमें ये कामगिरी करने के लिए अहमदाबाद म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन की तरफ से सुपर शक्कर मशीन, जेटिंग मशीन, डीप सक्शन मशीन, मिनी जेटिंग मशीन और रिक्शा बकेट मशीन और सीसीटीवी कैमरे की मदद से, डिसल्टिंग मशीन की मदद से हम ये काम बहुत आसानी से कर पा रहे हैं और हमें काफ़ी सुरक्षा मिल रही है और हम अपने आप को काफ़ी सुरक्षित महसूस कर पा रहे हैं। और ये काम करने के लिए अहमदाबाद म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन की तरफ से हमें मासिक वेतन दिया जाता है और इसके अलावा हमें साल में एक बार गेहूं के पैसे दिए जाते हैं और दिवाली पे बोनस और खर्ची भी दी जाती है। इसके अलावा हमें अपने परिवार पर कोई आकस्मिक दुविधा है तो वेलफेयर लोन भी दिया जाता है और हम अपने परिवार के लिए कोई भी परेशानी आए तो हम इस लोन को लेकर दूर कर सकते हैं। और हमें काम करने के लिए पीपीई किट दिया जाता है। पीपीई किट में हमें हेलमेट, रिफ्लेक्टेड जैकेट, हैंड ग्लव्स और गम शूज दिए जाते हैं, जिससे हम ये काम काफी आसानी से कर पा सकते हैं और हमें सुरक्षा मिलती है और हमें ये काम करने में संतुष्ट है।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद जितेंद्र जी। अब चलते हैं चंडीगढ़, जहां से हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं श्री सुभाष जी, जो 28 सालों से सफाई मित्र हैं। सुभाष जी चंडीगढ़ म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन के रेगुलर स्टाफ हैं। सुभाष जी ने पहली बार सफाई सुरक्षा के अंदर डिटेल स्किल डेवलपमेंट ट्रेनिंग प्राप्त की है और आज हम सब से अपने ट्रेनिंग के अनुभव को साझा करेंगे। अब मैं श्री सुभाष जी से अपनी सफाई मित्र के अनुभव को साझा करने का अनुरोध करता हूँ।
नमस्कार जी, मैं सुभाष कांगड़ा में नौकरी करता हूँ। सीवर लाइन के पद पे 2018 से पहला हमारी सुविधा नहीं थी और उसके बाद हमारी ट्रेनिंग कराई गई। उसके बाद ट्रेनिंग कराने के बाद वीडियो ट्रेनिंग कराई गई है। स्पेशल टीम बनाकर 14 आदमी की उनको स्पेशल ट्रेनिंग दी गई है अंदर भरने के लिए और उससे 15-20 मिनट अंदर जाके मैं काम करता आया। स्टेशन घटक अंदर भर के मुझे कोई किसी दिक्कत नहीं आई। साहिबान अफसर साहिब जो मेरे पास खड़ी थी, हमारी टीम होती है डिपार्टमेंट की, मेरे पास खड़ी थी, वो पूरी लेके वो गाड़ियाँ जो भी सिस्टम था सिविल डिपार्टमेंट के बारे में वो हमारे पास थे। इससे के समय बाद मित्रा और अफसर साहब मेरे पास खड़ी थी और मैं कॉर्पोरेशन का और हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट का 3 महीने बाद हमारा हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट चेक करता हमारे को और पूरी हमारे परिवार से मेरे अंदर से बदबुआ कभी। और उसके बाद जब 2018 के बाद कर जाते हैं तो परिवार वाले मेरी मिसेस मेरे बच्चे का से बदबुआ से बाहर जाकर काम करता है तो नहा पाएंगे। और 2018 के बाद सुविधा मिली हमारे को। आज से इस सरकार और कॉर्पोरेशन ने भी पड़ा और 2018 के बाद में हमारे पास पूरा सिस्टम गाड़ियाँ और जितने भी हैं सिविल में जो मशीनें हैं वो सारी हमारे पास है। और जो 2016 में मुझे गैस लगी थी, इससे बाद 2016 में मुझे गैस लगी थी सेक्टर 32 जनरल हॉस्पिटल में मुझे रहा था। और जितने हमारे डिपार्टमेंट के बंदे थे, जितने साहिबान जो मेरे साथी थे, पूरे वहां पर खड़े होके और मेरी जान बचाई गई। मैं अपने कॉर्पोरेशन का और साथियों का और डॉक्टरों का मैं सबका धन्यवाद करता हूँ। और आज जो 2016 के बाद 2018 तक और आगे की परसों हमारी ट्रेनिंग कराई जा रही है और 3 महीने बाद हमारी ट्रेनिंग होती है और हमें पूरा संयोग मिल रहा है और कोई ऐसी बात नहीं हमारे साथ में। और वेतन भी हमारे को अच्छा मिल रहा है और पेंशन भी हमारे को अच्छी मिलेगी। 1985 में लगा था, 20 साल पुरानी मेरी नौकरी हो चुकी है। फिर भी हम अपने देश के लिए और अपने डिपार्टमेंट के लिए कॉर्पोरेशन के लिए पूरा अपना जीवन हमारी सर्विस रहेगी, उस पर पूरा हम बढ़ेंगे। और मैं धन्यवाद करता हूँ सबको भी और कॉर्पोरेशन का भी जो हमारे को ये चीजें उपलब्ध कराई गई। और ऐसे 2018 से पहले हमारे पास इतना नहीं था जो हमारे कुछ साथियों को गड़बड़ भी हुई है, मगर इस टाइम हमारे पूरी सुविधा हमारे साथ।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। अब हमारे साथ गया बिहार से जुड़ रहे हैं श्री आकाश राम जी, जो म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन के साथ सफाई मित्र के रूप में जुड़े हुए हैं। अपने काम के प्रति लगन एवं अच्छी गुणवत्ता की वजह से 2 बार म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन से अवार्ड भी प्राप्त कर चुके हैं। अब मैं श्री आकाश राम जी से अपना अनुभव शेयर करने के लिए अनुरोध करता हूँ। आप थोड़ा सा माइक के नजदीक आ जाइए आकाश राम जी।
आइए आगे आ जाइए।
नगर निगम में काम कर रहा हूँ 10 साल से। पहले कुछ नहीं था, मिल रहा है, जैसे कि दस्ताना पास हेलमेट जूता मिलता है काम करने के लिए। पहले डाला मेल का काम करने के लिए मिलता था, अब मशीन द्वारा काम होता है। पहले बस 100 रुपया था, 110 रुपया था, अब 409 रुपये मिल रहा है। जन जनरल है, गैस सिलेंडर मिलता है। पहले काम करते थे, हर तरह के नाम से बुलाता था, डोम मेस्तर, अब नया नाम दे रहा है, सफाई मित्र नाम दे रहा है।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आकाश राम जी। अब हमारे साथ नवी मुंबई महाराष्ट्र से जुड़ रहे हैं श्री राजेश श्रवण थले जी, जो म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन के साथ सफाई मित्र के रूप में 15 साल से जुड़े हुए हैं। अब मैं श्री राजेश श्रवण जी से अपने सफाई मित्र के अनुभव को साझा करने का अनुरोध करता हूँ।
नमस्कार, मेरा नाम राजेश श्रवण थले है। नवी मुंबई महानगर पालिका और सफाई मित्र सुरक्षा चैलेंज आने के बाद में हमारे जीवन में ना और हमारे काम में दोनों अच्छे बदलाव हुए हैं। दोनों जगह हमारा जो काम सफाई करते थे हम रॉडिंग से या क्लीनिंग से, उसे 2-3 घंटा लगता था। अभी जो हम लोग काम करते हैं मशीन से, वहाँ हमारी कंप्लेंट 20-25 मिनट में खत्म हो जाती है और हमारा काम अभी आसान हो गया है। उससे एक फायदा हो गया है, जो हमें कंप्लेंट की हमारी जो संख्या थी वो घट गई है। सफाई मित्र सुरक्षा चैलेंज आने का और एक फायदा हमारी हुआ है, जो हमको मशीन हमारे पास पहले से थी, लेकिन सफाई मित्र सुरक्षा चैलेंज की वजह से अत्याधुनिक मशीन आने के बारे में हमारा काम आसान हो गया है। जैसे कि रॉडिंग मशीन, जेटिंग मशीन, डिसल्टिंग मशीन, उससे हमारा परिवार और हम लोग सुरक्षित है और हमारा काम आसान हो गया है। सफाई मित्र सुरक्षा चैलेंज की वजह से और एक हमारे जीवन में और एक बात जुड़ गई, जो 3-3 महीने में जो मेडिकल कैंप होता है हमारे यहाँ पे, उससे हमारा परिवार और हमारा 3-3 महीने में पूरा आंखों की जांच, सब जांच होती है। इससे हम लोग खुद को अभी जरा ज्यादा सुरक्षित समझने लगे और सफाई मित्र सुरक्षा चैलेंज ने हमारा जो महत्व है समाज में, वो बहुत बढ़ा दिया है। आज हम उसका आपको मैं एक छोटा उदाहरण देना चाहूंगा। मैंने जो अनुभव लिया उस पे, जब कोविड आया था तब हम फ्रंट बॉडी वर्कर करके हमको जो हमारे अड़ोस पड़ोस के लोगों को जो कोविड की डोज जो लेट मिल रहा था, हमको फ्रंट बॉडी वर्कर करके हमारी फैमिली को हमको पहले दिया गया। इससे हम इतना संतुष्ट हो कि हमको विश्वास नहीं हो रहा था कि हमको पहला डोज दिया गया। दूसरी बात, जो हमारे लाइफ में बदलाव हुआ है, जो हमारा महत्व बढ़ गया, इसलिए मैं सफाई सुरक्षा चैलेंज और हमारी पालिका का बहुत आभार मानता हूँ।
आगे बढ़ते हुए अब हम सचिव महोदय नेशनल कमीशन ऑफ सफाई कर्मचारी CP के खंडेलवाल जी से संबोधन के लिए विनम्र निवेदन करते हैं।
Good morning. I think I am audible to all.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me introduce myself. I am R.K. Khandelwal, and at present I am holding the post of Secretary, National Commission for Safai Karmcharis. Almost 1 year back, I joined this organization, and since then I have been contacting various state governments, municipal corporations, basically to ensure that our objectives are met.
Sir, can you please share your video also, sir?
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah. First of all, I would like to congratulate Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, as well as Ministry of Social Justice, for organizing such a conference across India, especially for 500 cities. In fact, such conferences are really need of the hour for propagating the main cause. Today, the topic of discussion has been the SafaiMitra Suraksha manhole to machine hole, and about 75 progressive cities are expected to achieve
The required protocol in this occasion is to be used to advise and motivate other cities and towns with a main focus on safety and welfare of sanitation workforce. The issue of casualties among sanitation workers engaged in maintaining sewers and septic tanks has always been of serious concern to National Commission for Safai Karmcharis. The Commission has been taking up with various state governments and municipal authorities to take steps to prevent casualties by use of protective gears, adequate training to sanitation workers, use of modern technology and machines, etc. Just to give magnitude of the problem, since 1993, so far, more than 1,000 deaths have been reported due to sewer and septic tank cleaning. Through various interactions with the state and local bodies, field visits, and communications, the Commission has been able to impress upon the state and local bodies to use more and more safety and mechanical devices. As a result, the death cases have come down drastically from 96 in 2017-18 to 34 in 2021-22. As you all know, that this commission has been entrusted with the task of monitoring the implementation of provision of employment as manual scavengers and they are in Act 2030 and Section 31(1) of the Act provides for it. As regards mechanization, today we are talking about the Act itself provides for this, and Section 33 of the Act stipulates that it is the duty of every local authority and other agency to use appropriate technology and appliances for cleaning sewers, septic tanks, and other spaces, and further stipulates the duty of the appropriate government to promote through financial assistance, incentives, and otherwise the use of modern technology. I think you all must be aware that Honorable Supreme Court on 27th March 2014 has delivered a historical judgment, and as per that judgment, a compensation of ₹10 lakh is to be given to every family of the persons dies while cleaning sewer or septic tanks, among other directions, and that is since 1993. Due to Commission's serious efforts through video conferencing, letters to state governments, to the chief secretaries of the various states and union territories, and personal contacts, more than 160 old pending cases, the compensation has been delivered by the concerned authorities, some of which were pending since 1993, 95, and so on. Moreover, there has been a lot of improvement in reducing time delay in making payments. In some cases, the compensation ₹10 lakhs has been paid within 24 hours of the death. Especially, I am talking about the Delhi incident where on 29 March the death occurred, and on 30 March 2022 the payment was made. Recently, in Madras High Court, they have passed a judgment regarding the raising the compensation of 10 lakhs to 15 lakhs. I am thankful to my counterpart in the Tamil Nadu government. The Tamil Nadu government has raised this compensation from 10 lakhs to 15 lakhs, and they have also decided that after every 3 years, they will be increasing this compensation to 1.5 lakhs. But see, here our problem is we don't want any death. We want zero death, and that is why we are here and converting all manholes to the machine holes. Although in all such death cases, FIRs are supposed to be filed under proper section of law, including the MS Act 2013. Apart from this, we have seen, and I have been monitoring that through the DGPs of the various states. There is a delay in investigation and what to talk of the trials. I have requested that the investigation and the trials need to be fast tracked so that the convicts culprits are punished, and this also gives serious message to the others. One thing I would like to point out, because the 500 urban bodies authorities are here, the police authorities are not there. We have seen in some cases that compromises being done with the families and the contractor, and then in fact the compensation is being avoided to the families of uh, the victims. I think this need to be taken care of. I would like to make some suggestions. First of all, the awareness generation among the Safai Karmcharis and public is the key to success for this initiative and drive. Because whenever somebody wants cleaning of its sewer line, he must have ready information from where to get it, and that time is very important. Therefore, this awareness generation through websites, through SMSs, and through see, everybody is paying the property tax, and the receipt is generated. Just for an example, in that receipt itself, some message can be given where the everybody will come to know that this arrangement has been made by the municipal corporation, municipal councils. Moreover, what happens in many areas, they are either on the boundaries of the municipal corporations or they are very narrow, and it is very difficult the machines to enter through machines in those pockets. So it is necessary that we must identify these areas, such pockets, and one must keep the watch on in these areas, and there is a need to generate awareness also in such areas of public. If we go for other suggestions, the designing of the sewer city system. This is a very important thing. And we need to incorporate a good design and design for the say next coming 30, 40, 50 years, so that this blockage and is not that much there. Moreover, the system of preventive maintenance need also to be introduced. Since we have held meetings with other NGOs also, and various partners who have manufactured the robots, they have suggested that there is a need to reduce the cost of the equipment. And since what happens in many times in municipal corporations, they are not very adequately financed. So there should be a provision of maintenance of these equipments. I am very happy that now, because of the intervention of Ministry of Urban Affairs, now these equipments are available even in the GEM. Finally, I would like to congratulate all the concerned authorities, the lighthouse cities, especially the Jamshedpur, Devas, Tirupati, Odisha, and all the sector organizations, that they are really doing the wonderful job. And in fact, we have really miles to go, and together definitely we can do. With this, I would again thank you, the Ministry of Urban Affairs and Ministry of Social Justice. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. अब हम जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी एवं नेशनल मिशन डायरेक्टर स्वच्छ भारत मिशन अर्बन मिस रूपा मिश्रा मैम से सफाई मित्र सुरक्षित शहर की जर्नी को प्रेजेंट करने के लिए निवेदन करता हूँ।
नमस्कार, सफाई मित्रास जो कि विभिन्न शहर में आज बैठे हैं और हमसे जुड़े हैं, म्युनिसिपल कमिश्नर्स, सिटी ऑफिशियल्स, different sector partners, senior officers of the state government, and of course the senior officers present from Government of India, from both Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and the Ministry of Social Justice, as well as the NCSK and FTC, and all members present here. This is indeed a very significant day, a significant moment for us. It needs commitment, determination, and a lot of resolve for a city to come and publicly declare itself that it is safe for its sanitation workers. And we have taken around 75 years to reach till this juncture. But yes, the beginning has been done. And any job that is begun well is certainly bound to go ahead. And we should be able to complete the task that is before us, well before time, and set our milestones accordingly. So friends, as all of you have been working in this journey, have been associated in this journey for the past 3 years now, I will quickly run through this very briefly for all those who have joined us in the recent times. So this initiative, of course, started because of certain challenges that we have been facing. Many of the earlier speakers have mentioned and highlighted the key challenges in the sector, especially the ad hoc and informal nature of operations that plagues the system. Notwithstanding that, there are also infrastructural challenges, very deep and old septic tanks, no vents, narrow roads, a lot of the population happening in unorganized manner outside the boundaries of the corporations, inadequate preventive maintenance system, both at the household as well as the city level, very inadequate mechanization and modernization of sanitation infrastructure. Very importantly, the workers that are working in this sector are vulnerable, and they're primarily from the informal sector, most often poorly trained, improperly equipped, and all this has led into a system where we see manual human entry into septic tanks and sewers without safety infrastructure. Given these challenges, a lot of things have happened in the past in the country, but over the past 3 years, there has been focused attention. And the bottom line that drove this initiative was zero fatality in sanitation work. With all that we are doing, we cannot afford to have human beings lose their lives while doing sanitation work. And for that, the broad strategy was that there must be someone who's responsible for this work, someone who owns it up and is responsible for it. Secondly, if there is an emergency, what is the kind of response mechanism that is there in each corporation and each district headquarters? Is there a helpline that any common citizen can simply dial and reach to if there is an issue of septic tank or sewer blockage? Is there availability of equipment? And very importantly, let us give a name and a face, and then of course back them up with adequate training, terming them as core sanitation worker. This being the broad strategy, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs through the state governments and the city administrations took up key initiatives that were in the form of bringing a structure to the institutional framework, bringing in SOPs that laid down how exactly we are to get into a preventive maintenance regime. We also did technology challenge. We also did a startup challenge to promote innovations and technology in this area. We brought in norms and protocols as to what would be the kind of equipment requirement and workforce requirement for the cities. And all of it, we rolled out in form of a learning experiment, which was named as SafaiMitra Surakshit Challenge, starting from the World Toilet Day 2 years back. We ran this challenge for 1 full year, and together with the cities we learned, together with our sector partners we also learned. and the learnings have been phenomenal. At the end of 1 year, we identified 100 cities that were well equipped and in advanced stages of what we would call as SafaiMitra Surakshit. Thereafter, with that experience, we rolled out a protocol known as SafaiMitra Surakshit Shehar protocol, which has been shared with the cities and about which I will speak in a little while from now. Having done this, of course, all the cities have taken lead. Our training partners, Camavida was just explaining, Dicky was also explaining, UMC shared its experiences. The training has been a key element: awareness generation, availability of equipment, training, retraining, again, has been an ongoing activity over the past few months. Awareness generation, again, that this is the helpline number that we are not supposed to call just anyone from the informal sector and put their lives to risk. We must take the services that are offered by the corporation, by the empaneled vendors, as something that we have been doing. Very importantly, MOHUA's mandate was to ensure that equipment is available. Equipment that fits to different geographies, that fits to different kind of requirements that cities would be having. The GEM portal has a dedicated page for Swachh Bharat mission. And during 21-22, when we ran the challenge, transaction of sewer maintenance equipment was of the order value of over 300 crores. And today, lack of machine is not something which we would usually get a feedback about. Rather, there is variety of machines, different kind of costs. Most importantly, MOHUA has been advocating a three-pronged approach for sustainability. We do not advocate a capex-heavy model at all. We advocate a fixed model. There should be an entrepreneurship model. There should be private operators. We saw the platform of Dicky. There should be savvy entrepreneurs. And at the same time, there should be some kind of a minimum level of own equipments that are held by the municipal corporation. And with this, MOHUA has been advocating another thing, which is urban-rural convergence. In this particular sector, we advocate district as a unit or a geography as a cluster rather than standalone approaches based only on corporation boundary model. Need to have a geographical cluster, and the responsible sanitation authority as well as the emergency response sanitation unit is to cater to this kind of a boundary. That is the kind of approach that MOHUA has been advocating. And thereafter, we rolled out the protocol of SafaiMitra Surakshit Shehar. It is nothing but a statement of resolve and commitment, where a city declares itself that it is SafaiMitra Surakshit. Thereafter, we bring our political leadership into the fray as well. We get their involvement, and within 4 weeks of this kind of a declaration, we have the political leaders also validate the work that the city administration has been doing. Thereafter, there will be a third-party validation within 12 weeks from the date of self-declaration by an independent agency designated by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. And we also have an online portal where anybody can see as to which are the cities that have self-declared themselves. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to share that at this point of time, more than 500 cities in the country have declared themselves as SafaiMitra. We identified 100 lighthouse cities at the end of the one-year challenge. I'm happy to share, out of those 100 lighthouse cities, 94 cities have declared themselves as SafaiMitra. It is extremely encouraging to see that 406 non-lighthouse cities have also taken initiatives and they have come. So here we are making a beginning, taking a huge step forward with 500 cities joining us in this significant moment. And if we see a breakup, these are the 94 cities spread across these states that have come ahead with this declaration. And these are the states where non-lighthouse cities, 406 in number, have come forward with this commitment and resolve. If we do an analysis, we see that the cities are uniformly divided all over the nation, be it our union territories or the northern part of the country, the central part, east, west, south, the cities are well spread out. And if we look at the performance of the cities that are covered under Amrit, out of our 9 mega cities, 7 have already declared, 2 are well on their way. We have significant number of million plus cities, 28 out of 61 million plus cities have declared, and other non-Amrit cities are 93 in number, which means out of 500 Amrit cities, 128 have already declared as of today's date. And while this is just the beginning, let's have a look at the task that lies before us. It is a commitment that we will keep moving ahead. We had sort of anticipated that around 75 cities will declare themselves SafaiMitra Surakshit on 15th of August. And here we are on 17th of August with 500 urban local bodies declaring themselves as adequately mechanized. Our next milestone is set on the 31st of March, where at least 25% cities of every state must saturate themselves. And when we say saturate, it is a 360-degree approach that we have been advocating, be it financial, social security, manpower, training, skilling, grievance redressal, as well as supply of machines along with training. And the next one would be 15th of August next year, where 50% of the cities are covered. And by 31st of March 2024, we aspire to have safe cities, all the cities in India safe for its sanitation workers. I thank each and every city for this journey, for their efforts. And I also request each and every state government and cities to move ahead so that we reach our next milestones. Thank you very much.
अब हम नमस्ते स्कीम को प्रेजेंट करने के लिए मिसेस योगिता स्वरूप मैम, सीनियर इकोनॉमिक एडवाइजर, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सोशल जस्टिस एंड एम्पावरमेंट को निवेदन करता हूं।
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Secretary, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Secretary Hua, Secretary NCSK, JSSBM, MD NSK FDC, the mission directors, as well as the municipal commissioners from the ULBs, and of course, our SafaiMitra Bhais. I'm very happy to talk about the Namaste plan in light of the SafaiMitra Surakshit challenge, because only if our cities and our Suraksha Mitras are safe and empowered, that India will truly become safe and empowered for everybody. So this national action plan for mechanized sanitation ecosystem Namaste, it's a central sector scheme for the Ministry of Social Justice, and it's being jointly implemented by our ministry and the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. The So this particular scheme has some important components, and you can say the main aim of this scheme is to identify the people who are engaged in hazardous cleaning operations, to enhance their occupational safety through capacity building. It also has an important vision of trying to provide them with individual safety gear and machines. Also has components of self-help groups and providing sustainable livelihood. Now, drawing from this, main features are the components of this particular scheme. And an important part of the scheme is to have a survey of these sewer septic tank workers, because ultimately the scheme aims to empower these people. So unless we have an enumeration of them, we cannot implement the scheme. It also has a component of health insurance coverage for these SSWs under the PM Ajay scheme, and skilling and entrepreneurial development program to support enterprise development for these in alternative trades. Now, the EDP program is a program that we run, which is also available online through a PM Daksh portal, which is also run by our ministry. And this program has now been linked through provision of loans for the SafaiMitras. There's also provision of capital subsidy to these SSWs in projects of alternate trade, and there's occupational safety and training and skilling of these people in an upskilling program, also part of our PM Daksha program. There is also promotion of capital subsidy for procurement of sanitation-related vehicles and equipments, and there's also a IEC campaign which is linked to it. So what is the coverage of this particular scheme? The aim of this particular scheme is to cover these 500 Amrut cities, which will be taken up in a phased manner under this program. And the list of cities will be notified at an appropriate time. It has broadly covering all cities and towns with a population of over 1 lakh, with notified municipalities, including cantonment boards. It also covers capital cities and towns, and which are not covered in this section. And there are 10 cities from the hills, states, islands, and tourist destinations, which will be also notified in time. So how is the strategy for this particular program and scheme going to be? There is a provision here to establish a convergence among key stakeholders here, which is the Ministry of Social Justice, Ministry of Housing Affairs, urban local bodies, and NSKFDC, which will be our loaning and corporation here. There's a citywide approach that we are looking at for implementation of this at a granular level. Also, the community-based institutions of sanitation workers and sanitation enterprises. There is a focus on program design and implementation, including institutional building and capacity strengthening. And there is also a focus on ownership. We are trying to promote livelihood. This was also talked about representatives from Dicky and Kamavida, that how we are going to make them Safai entrepreneurs, Safi entrepreneurs. The focus is to provide livelihood and enhance the capacity by becoming entrepreneur models. So entrepreneurship model is going to be promoted in this particular scheme. Now, this is a chart which reflects the organizational structure that we perceive to implement the scheme. At the top, we'll have a coordination committee which will be chaired by Secretary Social Justice Ministry. And there will be representatives from the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, from the Ministry of Finance, and from NSKFDC. The function of this coordination committee will be to implement this particular scheme. Below it would be a National Namaste Management Unit. And this would devise programs for reporting as well as for spearheading this entire program. It will also be supported by our TSU, which will be which will have a robust IT-enabled system, which is also being supporting this city management units. Below this would be the state management, Namaste Management Unit, also called the SNMU. This each state here will be free to nominate the SBM mission director to act as the director for the Namaste here, and the state PMU will also be reporting to him. This unit will provide support to the city Namaste Management Unit and be responsible for monitoring and implementation of the scheme in the state. Below this would be having the city Namaste Management Unit. This would be headed by the head of the ULB and the SBM nodal officer, who will work closely in tandem with this particular unit. This will be actually responsible for enumeration, SHG formation, providing benefits of provisions under the Namaste scheme. So there's a convergence of the program of the Ministry of Social Justice and POA. So what is the role of each ministry? I will just delineate about that. The Ministry of Social Justice would help in the creation of the National Namaste Unit, the State Management Unit, and the City Management Units. It will also put in place the organizational setup of the PMU, which is the Project Management Unit, or the project in a 3-tier structure. That is at the national level, at the state level, and at the city level. It will also help in the setting of the technical support unit for a robust IT-enabled system for monitoring the various parameters in the scheme. They would also be responsible for health insurance coverage for these SSWs which are identified. They will be also responsible for skilling and entrepreneurial development program for these people identified, provision of occupational training and safety, and capital subsidy provision for the projects and alternate trades. They will, of course, be also responsible for IEC campaign and monitoring and implementation of the particular scheme. Then I would like to talk about the role of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs in this particular scheme. The financing of this action plan, of course, will be leveraged on the schemes of MAUA from the SBM and the NULM. MAUA particularly will be responsible for the following initiatives. One is the SHG formation of the associated tank workers at the grassroots level, the PP procurement, so that each one of them has safety here, this thing, and safety device and equipment procurement. occupational safety training and skilling of these SEPs and the duty supervisors, and providing the work assurance to these sanitation workers who are interested in availing these loans for these sanitation projects. This is a very important part of the program, which Mahua, because unless these workers have assured work, their economic model will fail. And there's also the sensitization of ULBs and the following up of the implementation program. Now I shall come to the role of the ULBs in the entire, where I specifically said what will the ULBs be doing in this. So they will be designating the sanitation authority with the municipal commissioners who will be designated the sanitation authority in each of these things. They will also ensure the payment of compensation to the family of persons who have died during hazardous cleaning operations as per the Supreme Court judgment. They will also try to ensure complete mechanization of all hazardous cleaning operations. They will also provide the list of sewers and sanitation workers which are involved in hazardous cleaning operations and directly dealing with human fecal matter in urban areas in India. And they shall mostly include informal workers. They will also authenticate the data of the SSWs and the dependents which are collected by the PMU. The ULBs shall also ensure the scaling of the SSWs in operation of mechanized cleaning equipment, which they are already doing, but they have to take it and scale it up in a larger way. No manual cleaning of sewer and septic tanks without protective gear should be allowed by the ULBs without the permission of the CO. In fact, there should be zero tolerance for this. Then there is sensitization and IEC campaigns for customer awareness for these and for the SSWs and panel vendors. They will also ensure health insurance coverage for all these identified sewer septic tank workers. And they will also help in the saturation of all social security schemes which are for these identified SSWs. In the end, they will try to promote mechanization through cleaning operations through the Swachhata Udami Yojana of the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. So what are the internal outcomes of this particular program? Of course, it is zero fatalities. We at this stage, it is a matter of shame for any one of us that if anyone loses their life in cleaning of sewer septic tanks. So it has to be done totally through machines. No, all sanitation work is to perform by only skilled workers, and no sanitation worker should come into direct contact with human fecal matter whatsoever. Sanitation workers are to be collectivized as SHGs, and all sewer tank workers and SSWs have access to alternative livelihood, and they should strengthen the supervisory and strengthening mechanisms of the same. So what is the support which is provided to the ULBs to implement this program? One is the formation of the PMU. The PMU is the project management unit. It's not the project monitoring unit, it's the project management unit. So at the national level, there will be the NNMU, which will be supported by a PMU of 10 resource persons. At the state management unit, there will be about 27 PMU resources, one in each capital city. And there will be a city management unit, which is supported by 263 PMU resources. At the ULB level, the project management unit, there will be one, it will operate in a cluster mode. That means there will be a cluster of municipalities where this particular unit will be settled. Each PMU will comprise of 2 or 3 professionals. They will, of course, be working in close coordination with the teams of SBM and NULM. And their role will be clearly of survey and enumeration, formation of SHGs, provision of protective gear to the identified SSWs, ensure access to social security entitlements and livelihood plans, including skilling. At the state level, we'll have one Namaste management unit for ULBs, and at the state level, SBM directors, PM resources will also be provided as per the requirement. So these are the physical and the financial allocation in the scheme. The scheme has a total outlay of 287.24 crores. And the components I have already talked about in my slides. So these are the physical the points and the financials of this. So I'll go ahead. And this is the total financial outlay of the scheme for the particular years. So in the end, I'd like to just talk about this SUY scheme. The SUY scheme is for provision of financial assistance for procurement and operation of various types of machines. It has 2 objectives, or to eliminate the manual hazardous cleaning operations and provide sustainable livelihood opportunities for the workers. The financial assistance is provided to the groups as well as to individuals under the scheme. The key features of the scheme is that there is loan also component, which is provided through the NSKFDC or in any of the financial corporations or in the banks also. So there are two components. One is the loan directly to the individual SafaiMitra, where the project cost could be from 5 lakhs to 15 lakhs. And here the capital subsidy is provided like this. Up to 5 lakhs, we provide 50% capital subsidy upfront. And all this capital subsidy is provided upfront so that the entire cost of the equipment is made available to the beneficiaries. The interest payment for this is 4% only, and there is also a rebate for timely repayment. And this loan is given for a period up to 7 years. For a larger equipment, therefore, and the groups, the maximum number has to be 5, and each of the persons can avail up to 10 lakhs. And the total amount of the capital subsidy works out to about 18.75 lakhs, which is provided upfront to the beneficiary. So this is what I had to say, Dhawan. Thank you very much.
सुरक्षा के अंतर्गत देश में कई सामाजिक संस्थाओं सेक्टर पार्टनर्स ने आगे बढ़कर हिस्सा लिया है। एनएफएसएसएम अलायंस के साथ जुड़े हुए मेंबर्स ने मिलकर सफाई मित्र सुरक्षित शहर की यात्रा के अलग अलग विषयों को लेकर बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस के रूप में प्रस्तुत किया है। अब मैं सचिव महोदय एवं गणमान्य जनों से सफाई मित्र सुरक्षा के अंतर्गत प्रकाशित बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस के विमोचन का अनुरोध करता हूँ। बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस ऑफ सफाई मित्र सुरक्षित शहर, journey of 30 lighthouse cities and real stories of change. धन्यवाद। अब हम सचिव महोदय आवास एवं शहरी कार्य मंत्रालय श्री मनोज जोशी सर से संबोधन के लिए निवेदन करते हैं।
नमस्कार, सोशल जस्टिस एंड एम्पावरमेंट मिनिस्ट्री के सचिव, यहाँ बैठे हुए सभी ऑफिसर्स, देश में हम जुड़े हुए सभी म्यूनिसिपैलिटीज के ऑफिसर्स, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के ऑफिसर्स और सभी सफाई कर्मचारी, डिक्की और जितनी संस्थाएं हमसे जुड़ी हुई हैं, सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। बहुत खुशी है आज कि हमने जो टारगेट लेके चले थे कि 15 अगस्त तक हम 100 शहरों में मशीनीकरण कर लेंगे, उससे कहीं आगे करीब 500 शहरों में हम लोग कर पाए हैं। मैं इसके लिए सभी उन शहरों में जिनने ये अचीव किया है, हमारी महुआ की टीम, सभी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स, सोशल जस्टिस मिनिस्ट्री की टीम और हमसे जुड़े सभी संस्थानों को मैं बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। ये एक बहुत बड़ा अचीवमेंट है, बहुत बढ़िया शुरुआत है। हम जो टारगेट लेके चले हैं कि अगले 2 साल में सभी शहरों में मशीनीकरण, और जो हमारे उद्देश्य हैं कि सभी जो सफाई मित्र हैं उनको हम ट्रेनिंग दे पाएंगे, उनका इन्यूमरेशन कर पाएंगे, उनको सेफ्टी इक्विपमेंट दे पाएंगे और उनको एंटरप्रेन्योर बना के और पूरा मशीनीकरण कर पाएंगे। इस हमारे ध्येय के 2 साल के पथ पे हम तेजी से अग्रसर हो रहे हैं और प्रधानमंत्री जी का ने जो आह्वान दिया था इस बारे में, हम उस मार्ग पे हमारी जो चुनौतियां हैं उनको ओवरकम करते हुए जो अचीवमेंट्स हैं वो काफी प्रेरणादायक हैं और बाकी जितने शहर हैं उनमें भी हम जल्द से जल्द ये सब अचीव कर पाए, ऐसा मुझे पूर्ण आशा है, विश्वास है। इसमें एक तो मशीनीकरण का जो चुनौती है, चाहे वो हम म्यूनिसिपैलिटीज खुद खरीदें उन्हें, चाहे जिला स्तर पे उनको पूल करके करें, क्लस्टर बना के करें, चाहे उनको लीज पे प्राइवेट एंटरप्रेन्योर से लें, चाहे हम सफाई मित्रों को उनके परिवार वालों को लोन और ग्रांट दिलवा के उनसे खरीदवाएं। ये एक पहला उद्देश्य है। इसमें अगर उनको हम एंटरप्रेन्योर बना सकें, उनको व्यवसायी बना सकें तो बहुत ही अच्छा है। ये पहला उद्देश्य है। दूसरा, सभी शहरों में, सभी जगहों पे लोगों को जानकारी हो कि अगर उनके सेप्टिक टैंक या सीवर लाइन में ब्लॉकेज हो गया है, भर गई है, तो फोन करें म्यूनिसिपैलिटी को और वहां से कोई गाड़ी आ जाए, इनको 400 रुपया, 500 रुपया या जो भी उचित रिन्यूमरेशन है उसको दे के वो सफाई करवा सकें। ये एक सिस्टम लोगों को समझ में आ जाए, म्यूनिसिपैलिटीज को समझ में आ जाए और जितने एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं उनको समझ में आ जाए, ताकि वो अपनी गाड़ियां अपने इक्विपमेंट इसके साथ एसोसिएट कर सकें। ये एक काफी शहरों में ये ऑलरेडी है, पर काफी शहरों में नहीं है ऐसा सिस्टम। तो लोग फिर आसपास में पड़ोस में जो भी कुछ अरेंजमेंट होता है, कोई किसी को बुलाते हैं और वहीं ये इनफॉर्मल सीवर में एंट्री के केसेस होते हैं। अगर म्यूनिसपैलिटीज का सिस्टम लोगों को पता हो और ऑपरेशनल हो कि फोन करने पे गाड़ी आ जाएगी, सफाई हो जाएगी, तो इस तरह के केसेस ना होंगे। तो ये हम सब इक्विपमेंट लाने के साथ साथ हमको सबको ये इंश्योर करना है कि एक सिस्टम ऑपरेट करे, रिलायबल सिस्टम ऑपरेट करे। इसके साथ ही सभी सफाई मित्रों को इक्विपमेंट और ट्रेनिंग देने का काम भी हम करें। काफी चुनौती है। 4800 शहरों में से अभी हम 500 के करीब पहुंच गए हैं। खासतौर पे मध्य प्रदेश और छत्तीसगढ़ ने बहुत ही अच्छा काम किया है। आई थिंक स्टेट्स ने ऐसे चैलेंज लेके अपने सभी नगर निकायों में ये करना उनके लिए ऑलमोस्ट सभी में कर पाए हैं। बाकी स्टेट्स में भी अगर हम इसी तरह से स्टेट गवर्नमेंट चैलेंज के तौर पर ले तो ये काम बहुत मुश्किल नहीं है। समस्या बहुत गंभीर है, पर उसको ओवरकम करना इतना मुश्किल नहीं है। जैसा कि इन 500 शहरों ने बताया है हमें, इतने कम समय में हम ये सब कर पाए हैं और बहुत अधिक फंडिंग की भी जरूरत नहीं है। मैं आशा करता हूं कि जिस तरह से हमने और सोशल जस्टिस मंत्रालय ने मिलके पिछले कुछ महीनों में इस पे अच्छा काम किया है, सभी म्यूनिसपैलिटीज के साथ, सभी म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशंस के साथ, डिक्की और जितने संस्थान हमसे जुड़े हुए हैं सबके साथ हमने ये काम किया है। मैं सभी को एक बार फिर बधाई देता हूं और अपनी वाणी को विराम देता हूं। नमस्कार।
धन्यवाद सर। अब हम सचिव महोदय, सामाजिक न्याय एवं अधिकारिता मंत्रालय, श्री आर सुब्रमण्यम सर से संबोधन के लिए विनम्र निवेदन करते हैं।
My pleasure to be here with you all on this momentous occasion where 128 out of 500 Amrit cities have declared themselves fully mechanized. I think this is a milestone to be celebrated. I wanted to thank my friend Manoj, Secretary Mohua, because I think this concept of identifying, surveying, and then organizing the workers who are undertaking hazardous cleaning operations has actually it has originated from here. I'm happy that within a short period this could translate into a scheme with a very clear clear budget, clear outcomes expected, and a clear role mapping of all the stakeholders. So this Namaste project is going to take the entire process forward within time-bound manner. And the fact that today there are so many people from Government of India sitting and then talking to all the municipalities shows the commitment of the central government and also the state governments in order to end the practice of hazardous cleaning with bare hands. So friends, today I will not state much because you have seen the entire presentation of what Namaste scheme is, and you have been yourself doing a lot of work at the field level. You know the problem on hand, and you also know the solutions. So today we want to give you a support. We want you to lead this effort. See, it is the municipal commissioners, the head of the municipality has to lead this effort. Tabhi ho paega. It cannot be led by a central government or a state government. It is you who is sitting at the field level who has to make this happen. The support that we are going to extend to you is in terms of setting up 100 PMUs. There will be 100 PMUs which will cover all your cities, and then we want to equip this PMU will have young professionals, people who are bright, who have experience in doing social work, and people who will be specially chosen. And we have asked UMC Ahmedabad to be the technical support agency for this, technical support unit for this. So they will be interacting with you directly or indirectly, and then helping in setting up this PM. This PMU people are going to be very bright, I can tell you, they are youngsters. So please support them. I know the normal tendency is that if you find a bright person in your office, you just take him to your office and then use him for doing all important activities, including presentations. Oh, mat karna. These people are supposed to be at the field level. They have to identify, approach, do clear evaluation of every informal worker who is engaged in the hazardous occupations, and then prepare a livelihood plan for them. And that the livelihood plan has to be funded also. See, it is not necessary, it is not sufficient that we just, prepare livelihood plans. The livelihood plan has to be implemented. That means it has to be tied with the existing government schemes. It has to be tied with the bank loan. So there is a fair amount of organizational work which the PMU is expected to do. So my request to you is that as you take leadership of this program, please ensure that the resources, that human resources that we are providing from the central government side are properly put to use, and then you don't distract them with other activities. Second thing is that the SUA program, as Yogita ji has mentioned, is an important investment. If you want more money for SUY program, we are prepared to provide. Money is not a constraint. The only constraint is our thinking process. Whether we can go complete mechanization or not is a decision which you have to take. People at the field level has to take. And once you take that decision, there will be no constraint which will stop you. I assure you that. Not of funds, not of human resources, not of organizational matters. We will be totally with you in taking this process forward. So my request to you is that today we are talking about 128 out of 500 Amrit cities. It has to be 500 out of 500, because to mechanize a hazardous cleaning operation cannot be a choice anymore. It is a necessity. It is not a choice. It is a necessity. Everybody must come onto this at the earliest, and in this effort, we are here with you. We will support you, funding, machine support, innovations, all these things. The government will be with you. My request to all of you is to take this forward and then make this a reality. As I said, there are 5 aspects in this: identification, organization, then equipping, and then protecting, and then livelihood support. So 5 aspects with which we want to reach 1 lakh people who are engaged in hazardous cleaning operations, and then thereby we want to revolutionize this particular action of cleaning, sanitation, etc. So therefore, my request to all of you is to just join this effort and take this forward. We are all with you. Together we will succeed. Thank you very much.
अपने कार्यक्रम की समाप्ति के लिए Deputy Advisor PhD Movaser.
Mr. Permission to conclude this webinar to a vote of thanks. We must thank the city administrators from across the country who have taken this initiative with due priority and determination to reach this big 500 numbers. Perhaps never before would have such a clear and unidirectional approach been adopted and rolled out with such military precision in any field of work. We thank Secretary Mahua and JSSPM for their leadership on this initiative. Thanks Secretary Ministry of Social Justice and Environment and his team for joining us on this path to a zero accident regime for management of sanitation and the welfare of sanitation workers. We also thank the National PMU for the support and the National FSM Alliance for the backup. Thank everybody for joining us today, and special thanks to Safai Karmcharis for the service to citizens of this country. Thank you.